Hey there, I'm Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a wrap-up of all the books that I read in December. Yes, I know this is a late wrap-up. All of my wrap-ups are late right now. I'll try and do better as the months go on. I got sick at the beginning of January. When am I not sick? I don't know. It's infuriating. Anyway, let's get straight into this wrap-up. So first up was a buddy read with Emily from Novell Novels, and we were reading The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. This is book 3 in the Trials of Apollo series, and I've got to say probably the most forgettable of the series so far. I struggle to remember what happened in this book, bar like a few scenes, and I don't think that's a good thing. I found it was kind of boring and more serious than the other previous books in the series, but also less fun. And like, I kind of come to this series for fun mixed in with seriousness things, and I don't think I cared enough about the characters to offset the seriousness, because this book featured 2 characters from the Heroes of Olympus series that appear in this one, and they were my least favorite characters from the Heroes of Olympus series, and I could not give a rat's about those 2 characters. I don't know what it is about them, I just don't care, and they were very prominently featured in this book, and I'm just like, I really don't care. So I don't think that influenced me positively towards this book. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars, and it kind of put me in a slump towards the Trials of Apollo series, and I feel like I maybe have read too many Rick Riordan books in a row. Maybe I'm just getting Percy Jackson burnout, I don't know. But the plan is to finish off this series and then take a little break before I pick up The Sun and the Star and then the new Percy Jackson trilogy, because I feel like I need to give them a good chance, and I need a break for that to happen. Next up is a short audiobook called The Christmas Star by Kate Forster, and this one is about a woman who is just having the worst time, and she has to spend Christmas with her family, and her sister's a bit of a narcissist, and she's just kind of horrible, and then she bumps into this guy, and she's like, oh, I need to pretend that I have a date for Christmas. And then some people say that the guy looks like this famous movie star, and she buys that it's not him, but of course it's really him. I mean, you know where this entire plot is going, but like, it was still fun, and it was like a really easy Christmas read. This month I found that I was reaching for like a lot of shorter Christmas media because I was finding it really hard to get into the mood of Christmas. And I don't know, this was just really easy for my brain to process, so I just went with it. I ended up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars, even though the ending is completely undeserved. I just rolled with it. It was fine. It helped get me a little more Christmassy than I was feeling before. Next up was A Cast a Glass Christmas by Kate Hewitt. This is about a woman and her 2 kids who basically leave her husband because he was having an affair, and she said, I've had enough, and he said, okay, well, we'll get a divorce then. So she ends up moving back into her family home, which is a castle, which is kind of falling apart around her family because nobody's like running it properly, so she decides that she's gonna sort of see if she can turn the castle into a business, and there's also romance. I actually quite like this book, but I do think that it kind of suffered from that it's the first in a series kind of thing, because it almost felt like the first half of a book and I wanted to see where it was going after this. Like, it left it on a really hopeful note, but I'm like, but then what happened though? Because I would like to know, but I don't know, so I wish you told me. It obviously gets continued in other books in a series, but like, I don't want to have to read other books in a series to find out how this particular story ended when the next one's probably going to be about her sister. So, Then I picked up Happy Bloody Christmas by Jo Middleton, and this is a book that I would definitely recommend because it made me laugh quite a lot. It has a very specific British humour that really tickled me, and just the way that the main character and a lot of the other characters think and talk is just very funny to me. I related to it a lot, even though the things happening in this book are just ridiculous. So the premise is that this family has a Christmas party and everybody gets a bit drunk, and then she wakes up the next day, goes downstairs into the pantry, and Santa has been murdered. And Santa's just her creepy ex-boss, but he's still been murdered in her pantry. Now this is one of those let's investigate the murder and the police are kind of useless stories, and it's silly. Like, let's not take it too seriously. It is dead silly. But I also really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I read The Christmas Cottage by Sarah Morgan. This is a book about a woman who basically has no friends or family. At work, she has this kind of made-up life that she tells her co-workers about. Like, she pretends that she has a dog, she pretends that she has this big family, but really she has this mum who is completely horrible to her. No dog, no anything apart from financial security. And she thinks she likes it that way, but her favourite client invites her to come and stay in a spare cottage in the town that she lives in, and she spends Christmas there. But there are like some secrets. It's Cooper! Hi, come here! Good, no! Come back! Come back! He doesn't want to come back. But there are quite a few secrets to be uncovered. Now, I actually really enjoyed this book by the end of it, but I did think that there's a lot of setup. Because the first half of this book is a long, drawn-out, kind of depressing setup for where we eventually go, but I feel like you need that for the payoff in the second half of the book, so in the end I don't mind it, but it might take a little bit to get into this book because I do think it just draws it out quite a lot. There is an element of fan family to this, and by the end of it I really enjoyed it. And also there is actually a dog in this book, and That's cute. I don't know, it was cute by the end. I think it actually made me tear up by the end, which I kind of appreciate. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up I read How to Lose a Guy Before Christmas by AJ Pine. And this book is about 2 people trying to get home for Christmas, and they get together on a rideshare app, and it turns out that they had a one-night stand a couple months previously and were never meant to see each other again. And now they're trapped in a car together, trying to drive back home. They end up getting stuck in this like really creepy Christmas town. I say creepy, but I don't mean that. I just mean it's very, very crazy Christmas. Like stuff you would see in a Hallmark movie and never in real life, you know? I ended up rating this one 3 out of 5 stars because it was a bit silly. I mean, there's a whole thing with like senior citizens and wearing lingerie in City Hall. It's very weird, but you know, it was fun enough. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Next up I picked up Booked for the Holidays by Liz Maverick, and this is actually a Hanukkah romance, which I really enjoyed because I don't really read very many of them. Hi, Cooper, hi! It's been a while since you've seen Cooper. He doesn't like to be manhandled, but you know, here he is. Say hi. What are we doing? Can we get down? Go on then. Go on then. He actually only paid me a visit then because he wants me to go and open his door for him. It's open, he just wants me to physically hold it open for him because I am his bitch. So this is about this woman who works in publishing, and she's due to like go and check in on this author who's trying to write the last book in this long-running cozy mystery series. So she goes to this author's house and all she finds is this like disheveled looking man, and she's like, oh, I need to speak to the author, and he's like, she's not here right now, she's busy, blah blah blah. It turns out the author died, and it's actually her nephew who's trying desperately to finish her last book, and they end up working together, and there's like sort of a forced proximity thing, and I just thought it was really cute, and I definitely recommend this one. And there was a lot of like food and stuff. There's a dog in this one too. I don't know what it is about these like winter holiday books, but they just love bringing dogs into it, and I am not opposed to that. Next up I picked up Cru Winter With You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a short story. The next 5 are short stories that all came in like the same pack, but I can't remember what the collection is called. So Cru Winter With You is kind of a best friend's brother, forced proximity, they feel really awkward around each other type of story, and it was fun. I obviously like Ali Hazelwood's writing, so I feel like I got into it really easily, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey, and this one is a single mum giant cowboy romance. I don't know, he's a really big guy and she's a single mum, and then they bond over trousers that she makes. I can't lie, I don't have much to say about this one except the dirty talk gave me the ick. And I had this very similar problem in It Happened One Summer, and I just feel like maybe Tessa Bailey and dirty talk and me don't all gel together, so I don't know. I'll give Tessa Bailey another chance because I actually like the stories. I'm not sure I really liked this story, but I liked It Happened One Summer. I don't know, there's something about the dirty talk that just makes me go like, oh, please stop saying that. Oh no. No, but anything else, say something else. But what can you do? I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Next up I read All by My Elf by Olivia Dade, and this one's about 2 people who work in this like elf food truck thing, and they get sort of snowed in, they get stuck in traffic, and they have to sort of stay in this food truck and then romance. It's cute, predictable, you know exactly what is happening all times, there is no secrets there and nothing is surprising. It was fun, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandra Belfour, and I think that this one should have been a longer book. I think you could have extended this story and it would have made a better longer book than it did a short story, because I feel like too much was crammed into a short space of time for this one. So this is about a woman who is going to clear out her grandma, I think, it's her grandma's house, because her grandma died, and then she keeps getting into all of these accidents where the same firemen keep getting called, and he's like, let's date, and she's like, let's not, because I'm just here for a little bit. There's a lot of hijinks, it's a bit silly, and romance. 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Only Santa's in the Building by Alexis Daria, and this one actually ended up being my favourite in the collection, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. So this one is about a woman who lives in an apartment building, and she is on deadline. She is the artist, I think she's the artist, or the writer, I don't remember, of a graphic novel that has a deadline, and she's been working really hard, so she's not been doing a lot of things. She's not had time to do like any Christmas things except get a tree, but she's not had any time to decorate or anything like that. And then these like mysterious gifts keep turning up at our house, and there's also a really cute guy that lives in the apartment below hers, which comes into play at some point in the book, but it's really cute. I really enjoyed this one. I would recommend this one. And then lastly, I read Not Another Christmas Rom-Com by AJ Pine, and this one I picked up just at random, but it turns out that it's also set in that weird creepy town that How to Lose a Guy Before Christmas is set in. The sister of the main character is getting married there, and it's like the sister of the bride and the brother of the groom who are like the main love interest of this book, but the main character is on her way to this like weird town, and she ends up flying and sitting next to this guy that she doesn't know. She gets a bit tipsy, he's scared of flying, they have a lot of heart-to-heart stuff, they both do some things that are not necessarily conventional jobs and admit it to each other, and then it gets really awkward when they find out that she's the sister of the bride and he is the brother of the groom. It was very silly, and I don't think I really understood if there was actually magic things happening here or not, because like it's a bit weird, but it was fun. Predictable, but fun. So I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. So there we have it. Those are all the books that I read in December. A lot of them are Christmas books. What are you gonna do? That's what happens to me in December. I turn into a Christmas freak. So, oh well. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!